my angelfish. We did it! Well, I did it. I don't know if you participated as well, but Inktober is done. Yay! We are free! I did want to make this video though, summarizing my experiences with Inktober. Holy goodness, that was crazy. Pardon my lack of a decent background. I'm actually going to be out of town by the time you see this, and I wanted to make sure I was able to get it done while it was still relevant. So you may hear some noises and stuff, and I apologize for that. But I did take some notes about things I wanted to discuss, and first of all, my feelings about Inktober. I guess I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I finished, but I'm kind of disappointed in the products that I made. I feel that I could have done better, and I know I could have done better, which is what is weighing on me. I have kind of come to accept, pardon as I'm just leaning in to put my stuff down, I have accepted that some of my stuff just isn't up to what I would consider on par. Part of that is this is my first video series on my YouTube that I wanted to have ready to go. So I did, spend a lot of time working on my first page here to be like, here we go. And I was super excited with how this turned out. I used just a very simple pen. I think it was like a pilot pen, and I was so happy with how it turned out. And then I was like, I'm gonna allow myself to have shades and values and do things like here where you can see there's different tonal values with the moon and the mushrooms and everything. And I used my Tombow markers, and I had done well with Tombow before. But as it just went on, I don't know, there are still ones I love this unicorn, I love the way it looks and just the feel of it, and one that I really I'm so surprised it turned out as well as it did, in my opinion, is my Blair Witch one. Just the way the shading works with it, and this is obviously the focus, but there's just this forest and it goes on forever. I was just amazed by some of these that turned out so well, given I didn't spend a lot of time on them, which in part I feel a little bad about now, but at the time I was trying to get these done, and I would record probably 5 or 6 images at a time and try to get them, and then of course by the 6th one you're like, am I done yet? Can I stop? Can I go edit this film? I have to get up in 4 hours to go to work, and so it was a little difficult, but it was definitely a learning experience. I mean, there are ones in here that I hate so much. I mean, the idea was wonderful, but the execution, just no. And I've spent time looking at my drawings in here. This is where my Inktober ones are. And I spent time looking in there, and I had to be like, I know I can do better. I know I can. And, I pulled out this little book that I have that I'm probably going to do a flip through full later. But I did, these are 75 killer whale drawings. I did it in 20 days. All done in Tombow, and using the same markers that I used for my Inktober. And these are so much better than stuff well, okay, unfairly I turned to the Blair Witch, probably because it's my favorite one. But it's unfair to take those whales and compare them to something like my mermaid, right? I mean, so, and it was I was sitting here staring at my whales and going, I don't have to prove to anybody else that I can do better. It doesn't matter. I just have to prove to myself. And that's why I was going through this book so heavy, and I was I can do better than this. And I feel what made part of it difficult was that I had put myself out there on YouTube and been, I'm gonna do this great thing. This is gonna be how I'm gonna get out into the YouTube sphere, away from my other channel, just focus on art. And that's what I did. And I was okay, hooray, maybe I can start anew again. But no, I think actually I'm okay with having put stuff up there that I don't think is up to my standards. And part of that is because as artists, if you're an artist or an artist you know, but I know from my personal experience and artists that I've spoken to, we all do stuff we hate. And we all do stuff that we're like, it's here, it's beautiful, and just coming out into the hand, onto the media, it's what happened, completely lost in translation. And I also know that people on YouTube and social media tend to do their perfect thing. You know, they're not going to show you necessarily the process. Like, they may show you the process when something works out, but when something doesn't work out, it's very tempting to just be like, this doesn't exist. Half of this Inktober just doesn't exist, but no, it does. And I think it's important to acknowledge that it does. You know, these are my shortcomings. These are why, you know, I was pushing myself to get so many done at a time. I could have done maybe 2 or 3 at a time and then recorded more often, which isn't always feasible, I know. Life gets in the way. You have a job. I'm saying you, but I'm talking to myself. You know, I have a job, I have stuff, I have responsibilities to do, but at the same time, if I'm going to do this, I need to be responsible here too. So I'm acknowledging my shortcomings with this. I'm acknowledging that I could have done better and that I should have done better. And at the same time, though, I'm saying it's okay that I didn't. I want other people who are going to watch this video, be it other artists, people who identify as artists, or people who don't think they're artists yet but can handle a medium that they enjoy really well, to not be afraid to post things on social media and be like, hey, this is what I did. There are so many people out there who are gifted that hide stuff because it's not as good as this person or this person or this person. And I think that's a shame. I think you should celebrate what you're good at and do what you love. I do think part of my disappointment in myself is that with Inktober I did try to go a more spoopy route. I do love creepy and macabre things, but at the same time, it's not my forte for drawing. Marine life is my forte. So I think if I had focused on marine life, I would have done a more adequate job, in my opinion. I do know there are people who look at my Inktober stuff and are like, this is amazing, what are you talking about? And I know there's other people that are like, wow, you have an art degree, what's wrong with you? My opinion is primarily the latter. But, you know, there are people out there that only see the highlight reel of people's artwork and other things that they do. And showing the good and the bad, I think, gives followers a more well-rounded route, a more well-rounded view of who you are and what you do. I think that's important because, you know, if all they see is the pristine stuff, they're only going to be like, oh, well, you know, that person's marvelous. Like, Melissa can only do these killer whales fantastically, and you know, she never ever has a moment where where she is a total trash mammal. You know, she's just, oh my goodness. So I just wanted to be able to put that out there and say, hey, you know what, it's all right. You know, if you are a budding artist or even an artist that's been doing this for years, it's okay to have days where stuff is horrible looking and to accept it. You know, still get it out there, get it on pen or paper, get it on paper. I mean, if you draw on a pen, sure, why not? I don't know your medium. But get it on paper, you know, get it, the ink to the page, the paint to the page. Do what you need to do in order to get this out of you, because in the end, it's more practice, and you can look at it and learn from it and be like, what did I do wrong here? What don't I like about this image of Constance Hatchaway from the Haunted Mansion? You know, what is it that I'm not a fan of? And then learn from that. And by learning from that, like, what on this image, you know, I don't like personally, I can learn what to focus on. Like, if we really want to look at this picture, for example, which I know you don't really want to look at this picture, but we're going to use it as our example. You know, like, I don't like how her eyes turned out, her nose, her mouth. The pose is okay. It was a quick drawing. I'm not too concerned about that. It speaks to the character if you know the lore behind the Haunted Mansion and the Attic Bride, specifically Constance Hatchaway. But I don't like the way her face turned out. And sometimes this is just stuff that's lost in translation. You do a pencil sketch, and then when you put the pen and the ink down, or the watercolor or paint or whatever medium you're using, it just doesn't translate well. And that's okay. You know, that just means something I have to work on. So I can go through to my blank pages that I have left in this journal and just work on the things that I didn't feel I accomplished. So in like the one aspect, I do consider my Inktober a failure, but in the other aspect of using it as a teaching tool to learn what I need to get better at, I consider it a success. And I kind of can't wait for the next challenge. Speaking of challenges, I do plan to do some more old challenges from years gone by, primarily to assist me in just practicing, kind of like I did with my Inktober stuff. So I'm going to practice old stuff, and it will group them into playlists based on like what they are. For example, I have a whole list of Junicorn from 2018 that I'm slowly working on penciling in onto watercolor paper. And in that case, doing media that I am more skilled at, I believe. I also do have some stuff that I'm going to be going through, doing flip throughs, like this little guy, for instance. And due to requests from people, I'm going to be discussing bullet journaling on here as well. I will be starting next year's bullet journal here pretty soon, and I will be videotaping it so that way you guys can follow along. And you know, if you are interested in starting your own, you can, or you can just watch the process and start yours later. It's all up to you. I just know that in my life, I've had this requested numerous times by people I know, and so I'm finally doing it. So that should be fun, we hope. I will also be talking about all sorts of bullet journal stuff, the journal, pens, etc., etc. So thank you for tuning in to my video, and thank you for following me. If you're not following me, feel free to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when stuff comes out. By the time this is posted, I will be out of town, but I will be doing art here hopefully pretty soon. My legs are falling asleep. Oh, all right, I'm shorter now. So I will be doing more videos. I will be doing more videos when I get back into town, and hopefully recording a few things that I can use while I'm out of town for art stuff, some art on location things. But I appreciate your follows, I appreciate your support. If you haven't watched the Inktober stuff though, if you want to go check that out, I would greatly appreciate that. And you can give me back honest feedback. Like, you can be brutal, it's fine, I can take it. I've been doing art for years, and I've been through many critiques and art school. That'll be another video, how to survive art school. So anyways, thank you very much for watching and your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.